Hi, I'm Laura, and welcome back to the Tarot Genie for this week's lesson in the cards of the Tarot. Today I'm going to discuss the Hangman. The Hanged Man is number 12 in the Major Arcana. It's kind of almost a little bit just past the middle of the cards, and it's a curious image, isn't it, when you see this individual being hung upside down off of this tree, suspended in air, but it's also kind of curious because he has his leg crossed, almost as if he were in a jig. If you turn it upside down, it almost looks like he's dancing. So there's an interesting set of energies associated with this particular image. Some of the first core meanings of this image, if someone's hanging upside down, the way suspended in air, is right off the bat, suspension. It's being like suspended in the middle of something. So he's not moving anywhere at the moment, although he's not completely immobilized because he does have his legs crossed in that odd position, in that kind of that jig position. But the first association related to this particular card is that concept of being suspended, being like not moving forward. It's almost like a time out, I would say. So if this card would appear in a reading, depending on its position, of course, it could suggest that at the moment you're not able to move forward. You're kind of at a pause. You're in suspension. You're at a pause moment, and perhaps it's a time to think. Now, one also important point of this image to notice is that yellow aura, that halo around the individual who is being suspended in midair. And that suggests that by being in this upside down position, by being suspended, he's being illuminated. He's getting some insights. And perhaps he's getting these insights because he's looking at things with a completely new or different upside down perspective. So again, if this showed up in a reading and was providing you a particular piece of advice, that particular advice, depending on, again, the card's position, could be you need to look at things or this particular situation at hand that you're asking about with a new perspective, or this is being called on, or this is what the situation is right now, that you're being, in a way, forced to look at things anew. And that's one of the positive associations I have with this image, with this particular card, is that it's telling you to look at things in a new, with an entirely different perspective, maybe an unconventional one, because he looks, well, he definitely is in an unconventional position. It also could suggest that, yes, he's in a pause position, a moment of suspension, and so that's allowing him to receive intense or very significant insights. He's really being illuminated, as suggested by that halo. And also I find it curious that his shoes are also yellow, suggesting that, I don't know, it's just that same concept of illumination. Maybe it's the idea that his next actions will be illuminated. By being suspended at the moment, he will best know where to move next once he's out of this mode of suspension. Also, the other concept associated with this is it's a time of surrender. You may have to surrender to a situation. There may not be anything you can do in this very moment, and so you've got to surrender yourself. And once you do so, perhaps you will get illumination. You will have some insights by surrendering. It also, depending on where it is in a particular reading, it could suggest stagnation. It could, if it comes up in a particular position, it could suggest that, oh, you're not moving forward. You're just stagnating here, and you need to be aware of this. You're just allowing yourself to hang out beyond the time that it's needed to hang out, that you should hang out. What's also, though, jumps out at me when I look at this image are his red stockings. Red I always associate with passion, that fire energy. So even though this person is suspended, he's got a lot of fire energy. There's a purpose, and maybe there's a purpose to this. The purpose to his hanging upside down. That's what jumps out at me. And some readers say that his blue tunic is the blue is associated with intuition. So it definitely could be, and that's what leads to his insights, his amazing insights. See if there's anything else that comes up. And it's also because he's hanging upside down, he is in a way restricted. He can't move at the moment. Although he's not that restricted. I mean, he's not completely tied up. We do see here that his hands are behind his back, and then of course his foot's hanging up. But then this foot, I think, he's voluntarily just putting it in that jig position. But overall, what this image suggests is that it's a time of suspension, a time of, the power, the moment of pausing, in between actions, in between situations, challenging situations. But there isn't the sense of, that he's being hung, although apparently originally this particular position of the individual was associated with being humiliated, but it goes back to some kind of Italian, some piece of Italian history. I don't know the details of it, but overall, I think it's suggesting it can be a positive card. Each card can be positive or negative, but overall, it's suggesting a time of getting a new perspective, turning things upside down to become empowered. When this card is reversed, like this, even though it appears that it suggests that, or the association is, well, someone's like they're feeling pity for themselves, feeling self-pity. They're feeling like they're the martyr. Oh, I've been put in this awful situation. That's typically what a reverse could mean. But again, you must interpret the positioning of the card, whether it's upright or reversed, depending on the position in the spread and the question that you asked. No card and no reversal when upright is inherently negative or positive. All depends on a variety of things, and particularly of the question you asked. And as far as the book recommendation for this week, since you're learning tarot, I've had this book since 2006. It's called Putting the Tarot to Work by McElroy. It's a fantastic book if you want to learn how to use the tarot in work-related situations. He's got some excellent exercises here on how to use the tarot for brainstorming, how to use it to resolve challenging situations at work. For example, here he says, getting information about scheduling your departure from a job you no longer find rewarding. Generating exciting new job opportunities if you feel stuck, like what can I do next? Or just sparking ideas that provide you with upward mobility. He has a lot of creative exercises in this book, and he also, I'd like to show you an example of his deck. He has this is from the Bright Idea deck. Mark McElroy came up with his own quote-unquote tarot deck. There's 78 cards. I love the images. I love the colors in this deck. And what this deck was designed to do was, it's not typical tarot. It's kind of images. It's more business-like images, because he felt that someone could use these cards in a business setting, for brainstorming, etc., without having your boss say, like, why the hell do you have tarot cards out here? We're supposed to be doing work. But instead, these cards provide the same similar insights as a tarot deck, but could be considered acceptable in the business workplace. As far as this week's music selection, what came to mind was oldie but still good one called, I think it's called, is it Upside Down? Well, I have to get you the name of it, but Upside Down is in the lyrics, but it's by Diana Ross. So I'll find the exact name of the song, but I think it's something related to Upside Down by Diana Ross. Well, I hope this reading has been helpful for you about the Hangman. Next week, we're going to talk about the Death card. A lot of people just shudder when they see that, but you don't need to do that. Yes, it looks scary at first, but we'll find out some more about the Death card next week. Until next time, remember, illumine your mind, inspire your life, with the tarot.